Well, we're not going underwater in the Wilds expansion. Instead, we're going heavensward? Alright, we get it. Go away till Evercold, guy. Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance. Welcome to the Skybound Eyrie. There were some really intriguing details in both the Ascendance trailer and developer's message that came out at like 10 PM last night. But first off, shout out to the director of this expansion. This man is a Monster Hunter king. He started back on Portable 3rd, then went on to be lead designer for Generations Ultimate and Iceborne. His track record alone has me hyped for Ascendance, even if it's a little far away in 2027. I also really enjoy having different directors behind the base games and expansions. It makes me feel more confident that we'll have a fresh wind of a game in Ascendance. And we've already got a glimpse of what to look forward to. We are now Monster May Cry. So with the boost bracer, my GU brain immediately started thinking Hunter Arts or Hunter Styles. But let's break that down some. The word boost implies that this is a timed mode, most likely with a cooldown or a gauge that you refill by attacking. And a gauge system could mean the return of hyper monsters, in which your gauge refills faster by attacking certain parts. But this kinda seems like a mix of Hunter Arts and switch skills from Rise. You enter boost mode to unlock or more likely change your moveset around in some way for a short period. Sort of similar to Archdemon mode for dual blades, with increased mobility and more advanced attacks. This also looks reminiscent of Adept style from GU. Once again, another callback from our director. This swipe attack on the greatsword almost looks like it's part of a moving or evading attack. So not quite Adept evade, and this follow-up also looks purposefully slow, so I wouldn't be surprised if it has properties similar to Rage Slash from Rise, increasing damage dealt if you get hit during the animation. Light bowgun, or this could be heavy bowgun, looks to have a run and gun type of mode. This is pretty sweet and is a nice way to add some mobility. And Gunlance straight up gets Adept Guard, yet I'm pretty sure the follow-up Cross Slash is from GU Lance, which is interesting. I do wonder if there's multiple options out of this Adept style counter, or does the Greatsword always go into that new charge attack? Does the Gunlance always do this Cross Slash? And so on. Man, this makes me want to have Hunter Arts and Styles so bad. I should just play GU over again. Oh, and this huge new map we see the Hunter fighting on looks amazing. I love open maps and having plenty of room to fight in, so I'm also keen to see how big some of the new and returning monsters will be, like Valstrax. And of course, the new Wyvern looks pretty sweet, similarly colorful like the landscape we can see in the trailer. For sure gives off Kurapeko vibes, with, obviously, the Valstrax jet movement and attacks. I do wonder if they'll bring in more of these herd monsters with actual, herd mechanics. But speaking of new monsters, oh, Kushala. Honestly, Kushala Dora isn't super exciting to see come back, but his fight in Rise was actually pretty fun. And it is kinda obvious he's not the only returning Elder Dragon. So the bigger news, to me anyway, is the similarity between the Skybound Eyrie and the Coral Highlands. And with the focus on Elder Dragons in Ascendance, I think Namiel, who is native to the Coral Highlands and loves high altitudes, is very likely to return. Really, there's a lot of potential Elder Dragons that could be returning. The Jet Wyverns definitely feel like a hint toward Valstrax, which, as a guy who started in Generations, that would be phenomenal. Valstrax was also really great in Rise. And of course, people are already talking about Shiguru Magala, and that's a fantastic fight as well. However, we just saw him brought back in Sunbreak, so Shaggy isn't as exciting to me personally. But with Gore already in Wilds though, he's essentially a shoo-in either way. Even still, I'd rather an Elder Dragon that hasn't been around for a while, like Dalamadur. Yamasukami would also make a lot of sense in a locale like this. Dalamadur. Dire Moralis is less likely since, despite my excitement for it in my last video, there probably isn't going to be any underwater combat in Wilds. Dalamadur. If they really wanted Dire Moralis back, they could create a single arena-style map for him, similar to Fatalis and other giant monsters. Which reminds me, Fatalis alongside Alatreon in Iceborne are incredible fights. And we got the guy who put them in Iceborne in the first place. It's been long enough. We need another DPS check controversy in Monster Hunter. Wow, I'm looking up all the Elder Dragons. What are these frontier monsters, bro? Is this the Elder Dragon version of Icy Hot? So obviously this is all quite exciting, and there's still plenty more for Capcom to reveal. It does hurt a little bit to see a vague 2027 release date. I'm hoping for no later than February of 2027, and that would be a full 2 years after WoW's released. World to Iceborne, on PS4 at least, was January 2018 to September 2019, about 20 months. Rise was March 2021, and Sunbreak was June of 22, which was about 15 months. Since this would definitely be the longest gap between base game and expansion launches, I'm hoping Capcom really fits a lot of content into the initial release. Although, it's likely we already saw part of the title update 1 for Ascendance. Mr. Thick himself, Lao Shanlong, is coming back. And you haven't become a true Monster Hunter fan until you've done a Lao Shanlong Siege solo. I've only ever had to do that in GU, but I'm sure it's way harder in the older games. For those of you that got to this point in the video, I have a quick question. So if I were to hypothetically create a video journal series of me completing low, high, and G rank with a few challenges attached, should I play through 4 Ultimate or Generations Ultimate? It might be time to experience Galamador properly for myself if he's coming back. Let me know in the comments, cause we gotta pass this time until Ascendance somehow. I've been struck by Fluency, thanks for watching, and you'll hear from me soon.